Welcome to the Alternate History of the World series. And we will be starting with something going on in China, as somehow there begins to be communists. And as we know, when there's communists, that means rebellion. And this is an actual civil war. So yeah, and welcome. This is what it looks like. I just have one thing left to do, which is color in Taiwan, because in the series it's part of it. Well, the Republic of China isn't ready to stop it yet, but they are getting ready to launch a big counteroffensive in the rural area, with this being as far as they can get into urban areas. And over here, the communists are north of Beijing, because these lands that are colored in all declared independence as they became communist. And as you can tell, a big front is made here and in the more populated areas. As they're saying, it's too hard to fuel this area. So what happens is, as you can tell, the Republic, the Democratic, NATO thing, the Transatlantic Treaty Organization, which, as you can tell, is only in the Transatlantic, might turn into a more global organization. And suddenly, but randomly, Tibet decides to succeed. Because why not? You can't have a civil war without them leaving. And then, not only that, but Xinjiang declares independence, and Tibet. And nobody goes after them because there's no point. And the communists don't mind Tibet leaving. You know why? Because it means less land to worry about or have to occupy. But they will come back for them. I would say this is what Tibet could look like if it declared independence in this series. Just cause. With Tibet and Xinjiang leaving this, it seems like a lot has changed. With the occupation of this area going well. But problems occur. You know why? Because this is valueless. And they're failing to make counteroffensives against the communists. With the communists unable to near Beijing due to good support of the Republic, they do this. With the Republic losing lots of territory, with an invasion of Taiwan occurring, and then at this point, the coast starts falling in China. And they manage to get China to have their forces split apart in the two areas, which leads to a successful cutoff of this area. Which basically shows their success. Being unable to be evacuated just basically ends up, they end up falling. And eventually they just surrender out of the fact they can't do anything. With China making a counteroffensive over here, but to no avail. As you can tell, their amount of land is small and everything. And Russia's starting to support these communists. And as you can tell, they're probably sending in troops. As the encirclement of Beijing happens in the fall, then, as you can tell, with the south falling and the north falling, this is a quick civil war, unlike some of the other ones throughout the series. As you can tell, that then happens as the place collapses and the occupation becomes an annexation as the People's Republic of China, which isn't ready to take on Xinjiang yet. Joining this alliance and seeing that they will have to expand into other nations, and them going after Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Algeria. All of which they all say yes. Which is good. Which is working in their favor. Which is great for them. And they just took some of Russia's islands. ask me why they're joining, because that was a mistake. But yeah. They're also changing the World Defense Pact as nations in Asia start expressing interest, such as Vietnam, which ends up joining. And as you can tell, Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam join. Australia hasn't joined yet, and probably won't join for a while. But with the competing for interest now having begun, basically a Cold War. So as you can tell, with all of Russia and its allies starting an invasion of Albania and Greece. And we're going to keep them the color they are, except the only difference will be what they invade with, and as you can tell. Basically, one of the goals is for Yugoslavia to annex Albania and Bulgaria, yeah. And Greece will become a puppet. And as you can tell, the invasion is swift. Into Greece they go. With the northern areas occupied, the northern areas. And they move right through. Oh, yeah. And their invasion is swift. And they move through. I just realized I was going to do a prediction on Israel, and I forgot to do it. That's not good. And so, Turkey takes Crete. And as you can tell, Greece is taken over. With Greece being turned into a part of this alliance, Albania does too, but instead, Yugoslavia annexes Albania. And so, as you can tell, that's a big deal. That means the country is getting significantly stronger. Where else could they expand? With democracy expanding into here. With Brazil starting a war. And so they decide they'll invade Peru. And the Guyana kind of alliance thing. Union thing, I should be specific. This being a major defeat, as it's figured out that, well, they have the support of the Russia. And as you can tell, they use this to invade in the south here. The ones with the best chance of winning. And as you can tell, they quickly take the capital and cross the borders. And you can tell as Peru is forced to surrender, and then the Guyanas can't really put up a defense or a fight, and they fall instantly, basically. With this being a victory for the communists. And as you can tell, we're basically in a Cold War kind of thing. Or so the communists think. As they form the... I don't know if you would have guessed this, but they form the Imperialist League. Which is going to be a third faction. Yep, there's 3 factions in this. And so, as you can tell with Brazil, who else would be interested in this, you may be wondering. Well, India also expresses interest, because with them bringing their puppets into this, with a force upon this government of Xinjiang to give Russia lands or face invasion. They picked the land exchange, because it's not too much land. So let's see what happened. The chances they get invaded is high, with Hejaz joining that. But as you can see, Egypt joins them, and as you can see, it's basically a Cold War, so it's starting to get a bit repetitive, this video. So that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Why should you subscribe? It's great for the channel. That's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. We got 180 to go to our goal. Hopefully we can get there before December 1st. So please subscribe. Bye, guys.